We need cards with our names on.
Oh, excuse me. Hello, good evening and welcome. It's Wedding Cues Live. It's Monday night. It's 8 o'clock. We are at the beautiful Owen House Farm. My name's Gavin Jones.
Owen House Wedding Barn.
Sorry.
Started already.
Just to let you know. Owen House Wedding Barn, seriously. Yeah, it is. Well, it is.
Yeah, it is. That's what it says on the tin, yeah. Should we start again?
Yeah.
No, we don't have to start again. I'm Gavin Jones.
I'm Andy Murphy. Hello, how are you? Good evening. Thanks for joining us. And we were joined by Jonny Draper.
Hello. All right.
Basically, we'll just introduce ourselves. I'm just in case anyone doesn't know, I'm a singer in a band called The Rush. I also have a company called BandTube that finds bands for people's weddings. Andy?
My name's Andy Murphy. Hello. I'm a wedding DJ and I also run a company called Love Music, which supplies amazing DJs to the world of weddings.
I've got the giggles already.
Wow. Wow.
2 minutes in.
Yeah.
2 minutes in. Gone. That's it. Game over.
There we go.
I'm Jonny Draper. I'm a wedding photographer and work with these guys quite a lot. Have done for quite a few years, so they very kindly asked me to pop down tonight and have a chat with them and with hopefully some people who are interacting about all things wedding photography. So yeah,
We've known you for quite a few years, mate, haven't we?
yeah, quite a few. I met Gav.
Oh, this is a story. This is a brilliant story.
Is it clean?
Oh, it is clean as a whistle. Over 9 years ago. This could literally fill the whole hour, so I'll do the really abridged version. Me and Emma were getting married. We needed a band. We didn't know anybody who did this sort of stuff then. Did a bit of Googling, got in touch with this company. Can't remember the name of it at the time.
Pro Music.
That's the one, Pro Music
my old
Limited.
company.
And we'd been through the website, seen a few bands, inquired about this particular band, and Gav replied, "Oh, yeah, sorry, they're not available, but have you checked out this other band called The Coolers?" Turns out he was the front man. How convenient. Anyway, cutting a long story short, we booked Gav and the boys to shoot our wedding, to perform at our wedding, and it was the same year that Gav was on X Factor and got through to the final 50, didn't you? So he was like a couple of weeks away from potentially live shows. And the time of year we were getting married was going to be like week 3 of live shows. So me and Emma were like going every Saturday night, "This is brilliant, come on Gav." Hang on a minute, what if he makes it through? What's going to happen for our wedding?
So, do you know what? You weren't the only one wishing that I wasn't going to get any further, which is, I'm not saying that's why I didn't get any further, but, karma and all that. But we played at your wedding. It was a great night, wasn't it?
Yeah, he'll be able to remember every single detail about it, of course.
I do remember the wedding, actually. But the interesting thing was Jonny had booked the band and he booked a DJ. And for some strange reason,
It wasn't me.
It wasn't Andy. Yeah, we didn't really know you then. I don't think. But for some strange reason, I'm thumbing through the Manchester Evening News.
Sorry.
Thanks for that.
You did that the first time. For some reason, I'm thumbing through the Manchester Evening News, and there's a story of a Jonny Draper who's not going to have a DJ at his wedding. He's just going to use an iPod, and I'm like, "You've booked a DJ?" So I phoned him up and he went, "Oh, ignore that, mate. We just got a free room at some hotel." I was like, "Oh, okay, fair enough." So that's Jonny.
Yeah, and that's how it all started.
Thanks very much for coming, mate.
Pleasure.
What I was going to say was, where were you guys? You did your first wedding, didn't you, a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, first one on New Year. I'd managed to have a week off in between weddings, in between New Year's Eve, which was the last one of last year, and then the 7th, which was very nice. Had a few days to relax, and then straight back to it. It was great.
Yeah.
Great wedding.
Where was it?
Up at Mitten Hall, top venue. Really nice guys up there. Really, really well looked after. So shout out to Ashley and Mark, whose wedding it was. It was belter, basically.
Yeah.
They were a sort of. I mean, I'm really lucky. All my wedding couples are amazing and kind of book me for what I do. And of course, they have a lot of input into what that is. But it's almost quite liberating for somebody to say, yeah, the reason we're booking you is because we like what you actually do. So we're not going to try and change that. We're going to just say, yeah, we want to do this, that and the other cool stuff. Want you to shoot loads of reportage, documentary stuff, but we just want you to have a great time at our wedding. And that by being given that freedom, you shoot the best stuff because you're not working to a rigid sort of list or you are working to a timing plan, of course you are, but you're not ticking boxes. You're allowing them to be at their own wedding, spend time with their friends and family, shoot all that great stuff, and shoot some really cool stuff as well, whatever that might be. So they were that exact sort of couple. So great one to get back into.
You gigged the weekend?
My first wedding of the year, was at Mittenfold in the Ribble Valley. Is it Clitheroe way? Kind of. That is up that way. Great first wedding, lively crowd, kind of an R&B. Old school dance classic sort of crowd, but they were up for it. I was up for it because I've not done it for a while. Must be kind of 2.5 weeks off over Christmas. So straight back into it and loved every second. Yeah,
that's cool.
Well up for it. Yeah. You, Gav, you have a wedding?
I had a fantastic wedding on. I did a corporate gig on Friday at Mia Golf Club, and for a company that we play out quite a lot, and they're great. They're really good fun. But I got it filmed by Roland of RT Productions.
Roland, yeah,
and,
legend.
He's an absolute legend, so I can't wait to see the footage. He released a little teaser trailer today. I've also got to mention Scott Shorrock from Ipswich.
Yeah, Scott's a geezer, yeah.
Scott is like my absolute hero at the moment because I asked him if he could provide some lighting for us so that the video looked a bit more interesting, and he just absolutely went to town. He was amazing, above and beyond. So I was really thankful of that. And then on Saturday I played at the Belle Epoque, and it was just like being at Glastonbury. It was amazing.
On a very
on a lot
indoor
scale.
Indoor
do you know
scale.
when you'll see this at weddings, and you'll see this where people are so into. They're not just into music; they're into what you're doing.
Yeah.
So they're really into like the musicians and the clap solos and stuff, and that's very rare. So I had one of those gigs on Saturday night for Ian and Fiona. It was fantastic.
Nice. I think we should mention on Thursday was the national finals of the Wedding Industry Awards, and
can you remember that?
Yeah, I remember it very.
You two went out and smashed it, didn't
we?
you?
We went out and
I was sensible. Not so much.
We went for a game of tennis, and it was lovely. But a few of our friends won a few awards.
Big up Sean
from the Flower Lounge in Didsbury, got the best florist.
I've got a big up Funtime Frankie's as well.
Yeah, big up Funtime Frankie's.
John and Yuan absolutely smashing it. National award, national wedding band of the year. What an amazing!
I don't know if you saw the way the Funtime Frankies went to the stage.
Yeah, no, I saw the video.
It was
fantastic. Yeah,
well done,
absolutely brilliant, man.
Big up Katie Street.
Yeah, Ashfield House. Yes, well done, fantastic,
awesome.
Who else got? Was it Cube Events?
Big up Debbie and the team.
Debbie and the team got best events team in the nationals, which is great.
Amazing.
Someone's just put. I booked you because you drink Jaeger.
Yeah, is that Harry? Did Harry just do that? Who's that?
We've got to say as well. We've got Harry's behind the
Harry,
camera.
Come in front of the camera. Say hello.
I'll come around this side
because you might notice that the camera work looks absolutely incredible, and it's this is all down to Harry, who's an absolute legend.
Yeah, he's one of my grooms as well, so I'm kind of feeling the pressure.
That's why I came. I just wanted to make sure that I'd made the right choice.
We must also say as well. I mean, I don't know if you can see behind us. We've actually done all this evening. Just so Wedding Q's Live has a decent backdrop.
This Andy Murphy's sideline is the...
Massive thanks to Dan Morgan and all the staff at Owen House Wedding Barn for such an incredible display here, which we've had a few open weekends.
I think you should probably say that some of that's Matt's as well.
Oh,
Red Floral, probably.
Red,
one or two
some
of them,
of
I think.
Is,
one or
is,
two of them.
is Matt's and Red Floral.
This is just a massive advert for
Who
all
else
our
should we
mates
plug?
at the moment.
£45 more.
No,
Have we mentioned my wife and her bridal shop? Yeah.
Oh,
No, it's too soon. Too soon. 9 minutes in, too soon.
Do it.
Didn't mean it. We'll talk about that later.
Anyway, the venue's been fully dressed for an open weekend. There's lots of supplies here. The flowers are from Red Floral. The lighting's from Hipswing and Luminate. We've got Barrett's Caterers here. You open again next weekend? Open again next weekend, so do come on down. It's open from 12 o'clock Saturday and Sunday. You can have a walk around and see this incredible venue. It's stunning, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
belter.
It's a belter.
Shall we get on to talking about?
Has anyone said hello?
There's just people. Sean's just said thank you for a mention, so that's cool.
No problem, Sean. Well done.
Your missus has just said, can you big up Andy Murphy for getting through to the national finals?
We did. We bigged him up on Thursday night.
Neil Redfern giving me a bit of grief for Man United scoring late.
Pack it in. There's always one.
I've only just got over it. I've got a Guinness there, that's getting me through it. But you know,
do we have any photography related questions?
We don't have any questions, but Johnny's prepared something, haven't you? You're gonna talk about through a few things, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I just thought
what this is all about, really, basically.
I think wedding photography it's a bit of a. I mean, the wedding industry overall is potentially a minefield for people when they've just got engaged and they start making their plans. I think a lot of that people sort of suffer as suppliers from not being a bricks and mortar kind of business. The venues are all right because you can kind of come in and go, look at Owen House Wedding Barn, it's beautiful and it's a real place and it exists. And people like me and thee, actually you less so because you can actually go and do some live performances. Probably Andy more actually because you're just really generally doing weddings. So people, unless they're at a wedding, can't see you. Mm-hmm. Same with me, they sort of don't really, and photographers in general, they don't really know what to expect when they're inquiring with a photographer, when they're starting to make those kind of initial plans. And I think so many people do things in so many different ways as well, wedding photographers. There's no industry norm. And I think that goes across all wedding suppliers, but I think the photography, because there's a hell of a lot of wedding photographers out there, it can really throw a spanner in the works for brides and grooms when they set out on the sort of the what do we want, what style of photographer do we like, what's our budget, what we're looking for in a photographer, all that. I mean, there's just so much going on. So I was just going to talk a little bit about that, and I think there's so many different angles that you can come at all that. And I think if I was to try and give a succinct piece of advice to people when they're trying to get their heads around what's available and what they are actually looking for, is to try and find a starting point of some description, whether that's a price, whether that's a style, whether that's an overall approach, whether it's a person they're trying to connect with, whether that's the sort of most important thing to them. But I think if we skip back to price, you can pay anything from 250 quid to ridiculous money for a wedding photographer, and everything in between.
You're at the ridiculous money bit there. I couldn't help it.
Sorry about that, Harry. That's usually a good night.
So,
sorry, dude.
That's all right. But I think one of the most important things about a budget is actually deciding on a budget and not flirting around with other stuff that might be too much or might not be enough as to what you actually want to spend.
No, I get that.
And I also think it would be not enough brides and grooms, I think. I don't mean it in a critical way, but again, I think it's because of the type of industry it is, and they're quite unwilling to give too much information away themselves in the early stages. And I actually think it might help them a little bit more in their journey if they were, when they were inquiring with photographers, actually sort of willing to talk about budget a little bit more and say, do you know what, this is what we are prepared to spend. A lot of people just send a blanket email to 100 wedding photographers.
Can I say that that's exactly the same with entertainment? One of my first questions, and you'll know this, when I'm with BandTube and someone's looking for a band for a wedding, I'm not going to talk too long. No. But I'm just saying, I'm just agreeing with you. One of my first questions is, what's your budget? And the only reason why I ask that is not to trip anyone up or say, well, they've got that, I'll give them a band that's cheaper and charge that. it really just narrows the field down. I know that they can afford XYZ band, and that's the band that I'll put in front of them. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I understand that totally.
And for me as well, and I think a lot of other photographers, I mean, I know a lot of wedding photographers, I'm good friends with a lot of wedding photographers, and I think there's a huge amount of them that are of the same attitude and opinion. And I think if they had a better understanding of what people's budgets were, if they can't do it, they want to help them and go, do you know what, unfortunately I can't do that, but I know this guy, and he can do it. Or these guys, and speak to them.
It's a bit of a community as well, isn't it?
Definitely. Definitely, and I think it'd just help people early on, because as I say, you know that some people are sending sometimes hundreds of emails just gathering prices and trying to work through stuff, and that's a nightmare. That's hard work, and it becomes unenjoyable. And I think the whole process of getting married, you should be enjoying as much of it as possible. It shouldn't be a stress.
The planning process, you should enjoy it. I get that. Totally.
You should enjoy it because it's something you might have been planning since you were 15, 16
We've got loads of comments,
loads of questions, lots of
flying
questions,
in.
Yeah.
So maybe we should just go through a few of these before you get to your
do feel free to ask us any questions, even if it's not photography related. We're happy to answer
Sally Eves,
any questions you have.
Yeah, she's a photographer friend of mine. Yeah.
Where did you start out?
Oh, well,
back in the day,
I worked for an advertising agency, a creative agency in Manchester, doing TV ads and stuff like that. I worked in the TV department. I didn't do any of the broadcast stuff. I did non-broadcast stuff, but I basically cut my teeth on filming stuff and editing stuff. And cutting a very, very long story short, somebody at work was getting married and went, "Oh, you film stuff and edit stuff. Will you come and film my wedding?" I was like, "Yeah, no worries." Never been to a wedding before, no idea what I was doing, just rocked up, shot this wedding, gave them a 3-minute DVD because I was doing the edit. Part of what I'd learned in that job was, and what was hammered into me was, fast cuts, great piece of music, keep it interesting, you don't want people falling asleep. So I kind of applied all that to this wedding edit that I did, and was going through it going, ceremony, boring, get rid of that. Speeches, rubbish, get rid of that. And just cut this 3-minute highlight thing together, gave it to this bride and groom, and their initial reaction was, "Oh my God, we love that. Where's the rest of it?" Obviously, I hadn't deleted it all, and I did them an extended version because I understood what they wanted more. But the 3-minute version was what they showed everyone. Yeah. And literally, phone just rang off the hook.
Really?
But that was a long time ago, and I wasn't charging hardly anything, and I didn't realise that what I was actually delivering, because I had all this stuff at work that I could use that I wasn't telling the boss about, but use all the cameras and
hello to his ex-boss.
Hi Dave Bell, Andy Cheatham, thanks very much.
Nice. Glad you know about all that then.
But what I didn't realise...
Siren outside.
What I didn't realise was that at the time, people were still getting 4-hour epics on VHS as their wedding video, and I was giving them this DVD, and then within a few months, like a chapter DVD set to music, and just with no research into weddings, just because that's sort of what I'd been told to do from the other side of the job. And people liked it. I started doing loads of weddings because I was like literally charging 50 quid to do a wedding, and people were going, "Oh my God!"
But then
those were the days.
Those were the days.
Sarah Heath's asked. A lot of couples ask me, should they pick a photographer that has shot at the venue before? Do you think that's important?
Good question, Sarah Heath. Evening.
Great
Sarah
question,
Heath
Sarah.
from
Sarah.
Heaton House Farm. Hello. Thanks for the question. I'm going to be totally honest. I think it's really important in this sort of situation to try not to be too smoke and mirrors with answers, and I think it's probably more useful to the whole chat if I kind of am a bit more direct about stuff. So I won't lie, and if somebody, when I'm meeting a wedding couple, sit across the table with me and go, "So, Owen House Wedding Barn, you've worked there before, and that's why we want to get in touch with you, because I think it's really important to us that we speak to somebody and we work with somebody who's worked there, because you'll know all the best places and all that." And of course, because you work there and you're sort of chatting with them and you want to do their wedding because it sounds exciting, you go, yeah, that's really important. The truth of the matter is, the more I work at a wedding venue, the harder it gets to shoot something new, exciting, something that couple have booked you for, because they want to do something that is unique and
to their wedding.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so when you know somewhere too well, you actually have to work harder sometimes. I think the best wedding I ever shot here was the first one I shot here.
Right.
Because I kind of didn't have any preconceived ideas about it. You're looking at it with fresh eyes.
Yeah, you're finding spaces and different places.
A place like this must be really interesting for a photographer. It's very quirky. There's loads of little, bits that you can go, right, I'll do that and I'll get them there. And, you got the hay outside.
Yeah.
I know you've done stuff out in the field, didn't you?
Yeah, we might have jumped in the Land Rover and driven off across the fields to the sunset last year with Olivia and Martin, and Dan loves a bit of that. Ragging it around the field.
Hello, Dan. Dan doesn't want to come on camera.
He's here.
He is here.
He's sort of barmaiding for us, which is very kind of him.
Very kind of him.
Very kind of him.
Let's get to another question.
There's quite a few questions, Gav.
Oh yeah.
Can we have a technical one? We allowed a technical question.
Oh, whoa! That might expose me as somebody who doesn't study.
Easy.
Should you visit the venue with your photographer if it's not one they've been to before?
Who's that question from?
Nicola Baker. Hello, Nicola.
Hello, good evening, Nicola. How are you?
That's a good question.
It is.
That kind of leads on nicely from my previous bit of chat about a new place. It's difficult that because I shoot weddings all over the place. So if it's a wedding down south somewhere up in Scotland abroad, it limits your opportunity to do that. I would always try and do whatever it is my bride and groom want me to do. If it wasn't physically possible, let's say I did a wedding in Devon last year, and it's a bit out of my way to go and swing by one evening. Yeah. So all I just said to them, my reassurance then was, look, I'll just be there proper early on the day before I need to start shooting. Go and have a proper nosy round.
And I suppose you can be spontaneous then, can't you? Because you've not seen the venue and you can pick.
I think sometimes the other thing is, weather is always going to play an impact in that.
Yeah.
You can go and look at somewhere and it's a beautiful day and you get distracted by, oh my God, it looks amazing out the front, and you turn up on the wedding day and it's lashing it down. Yeah. It's like, right, back to square one now. Yeah. So, I don't know, I'm really lucky my brides and grooms, but I'm all about
you from the work that you've seen, or perhaps they've had a recommendation from a friend. They just know Jonny Draper. It's going to be great. I'm sure you get a lot of brides and grooms who just trust you, and they look for your guidance. They're not telling you what to do, So, and that's really cool. I think. Nice one. Thank you for that, Nicola.
Cheers, Nicola.
Lindsay Ollis.
She's one of my brides from this year. Hi, Lindsay.
Hello.
Oh, hi, Lindsay. She's booked the Rush as well, by
the way. High five. Don't leave me hanging.
Oh, sorry, Nick.
She got a DJ there?
No, I think I'm doing the DJing, mate. Sorry about that.
That's awkward Lindsay. Now. It's a bit awkward.
I think I was going to read this leaflet then.
Question is, when do they need to have their pre-wedding shoot? And pre-wedding shoots in general.
Check your emails next week. It'll be coming up soon, Lindsay.
General pre-wedding shoot sort of thing. How does that work? What is it? Maybe people don't know what.
It's difficult. It's really actually. I try really hard not to talk about the pre-wedding shoot too much with my brides and grooms, because it's actually, if I tried to describe it, I think it'd terrify them, which is probably not the best thing for me to be saying right now. But
no, I get that.
It's very, very spontaneous and organic. It kind of starts out in one way, and I've got to really read them really quickly and see what they're comfortable with and see what they're happy with. So it basically starts out with a location that we've agreed on, whatever that might be, and going forward from that, it's about me getting it right, basically, and not putting them under pressure that is... I always have the same thing that I say all the time to brides and grooms. The last thing I ever want to do is have a bride and groom stood in front of me going out the corner of their mouths to each other, this isn't what we wanted to be doing, and all sort of feeling awkward. And so it's about getting over all that and generally I try and do them a couple, 3 months before the wedding. One
of the big compliments I can pay you is that generally your brides and grooms end up being your mates.
Yeah.
Do you think that as well, Andrew?
Well, I think a lot of your brides and grooms, you end up having a drink with them, you end up going out with them, you end up tagging pictures of each other, and I'm a bit like that myself. You kind of become friends with them before the wedding, and then after the wedding you're all mates, and it just makes life a bit more personal, doesn't it? A bit more bespoke to them, and it's not just a photographer, it's one of your mates, it's part of the team, and it does shine through your images.
Massively. No, brilliant. Let's see.
There's quite a few questions on there, actually.
Mary Smalls.
Mary Smalls. Hi, Mary.
Hello, Mary.
How do you choose a wedding photographer if you're not very photogenic?
Oh, wow.
Not sure where she's going with that. Yeah, because I know a lot of brides, especially when it comes to the first dance, they're all very nervous about the first dance, and they want it to be over and done with quickly because they don't want to be the centre of attention. So how do they pick a wedding photographer when they are the centre of attention all day? Do you ever get brides who shy away from it, or
a lot? I mean, to be honest with you, most of my brides and grooms, when I sit down with them originally, before they book, I think it would frighten me if they said, "We love having our picture taken and we can't wait to have loads of pictures taken all day." I think I'd be like, "Oh shit, I don't actually know what to do with these guys now," because so much of what I do is based around getting them over feeling that they're going to be the centre of attention and worried and nervous all day. And I think it's very, very easy to lose sight of the sort of the core important factors of the wedding, which is the bride and groom getting married and all their friends and family being there, because there's so much other stuff going on.
Yeah.
And they forget about that on the build-up to the day. And yeah, I've had brides stood at the back of the church about to walk down the aisle going, "Oh my God, what do I do now? Like, don't worry, like, it's all, the organ will start and then they'll tell you to come." And one bride in particular, and I love her, she's so much fun, and she just went, where are you going? And I've kind of got to go inside now and photograph the wedding.
No, where are you going? Don't leave me.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
exactly. Wow. And she was like, "All right, well, where are you going to be?" I went, "Oh, I'm going to be kind of in the corner when you get in there." And she went, "Right, I'll just look at you then." And I went, "Well, or you could think about looking at your husband to be as you." And she went, "Oh yeah, I'll look at him. I'll look at him." And she basically was terrified about everyone staring at her. She walked in. And then she clocked everyone and remembered that they were her best mates and her family. She walked down the aisle, waving, pointing, and forgot all about it. And I think it's very easy to get to that point where you're just panicking about stuff.
Well, it's quite a nerve-wracking day, isn't it? You put so much into it, and you want it to be right. So
I think we've got a lot of questions, but we've got loads. We're miles. But I'm so sorry, guys. We're miles behind. I do want you to do your little talk though. So should we do that now? And then we'll come back to the questions afterwards.
Yes. Is that cool? What was my little talk?
You've got your pictures.
Oh, good. Yeah, a couple of pictures. Yeah. I'm just going to... Yeah, I think that this kind of highlights stuff. One of the things I was going to lead on to right at the beginning was about... We talked a little bit about style stuff, price stuff, but from a style point of view, there's so many different approaches. Different photographers do things in different ways. And I think the thing that I can't get enough across to people is there's no right or wrong. From a bride and groom's point of view and from a photography point of view, if that bride and groom book that photographer and that photographer, he or she, is the right photographer for them, happy days. Regardless of what their approach is, how much they charge, whatever. If they're the right fit, brilliant.
Yeah.
But it's getting to that point and understanding exactly what it is that you want. So there's brides and grooms who want just pure documentary. So that is basically where they're going to do nothing directed, nothing posed on the day. They might not even have any formal family photographs together.
Is that common?
It's not for me, but it is for other photographers who sell themselves on being
and just say,
a pure
I don't do any posing.
No, I'm going to stand in that corner for half an hour and wait for things to all sort of fall in place and shoot this frame with all these things going on, and that's the moment.
Yeah.
You know, and,
right, okay.
And then there's photographers who literally just shoot formal stuff because that's what mums and dads want, the church doorway stuff. Great, happy days. And everything in between. And then there's me and a lot of my photography friends kind of work in, not a similar way, I guess, but a mix of the documentary stuff coupled with things that, I guess, like we were saying before about building that relationship and developing a relationship with your bride and groom, that sort of allow you to do something else, whatever something else is. So I think... Harry, cue, roll VT, run VT.
Oh, you got a chance to say roll VT.
Run VT. So, first one, are we on?
This is VT, by the way.
So, I've got to try and remember what the pictures are now, because they're going to come up here.
You can come around here because you're not on the camera anymore.
Oh, I could do that, yeah.
Bring the microphone with you and you can do it for me.
We're quite behind on the thing, aren't we?
Yeah. A bit of lag.
So, I can pick this up,
Set it on fire.
try not to set it on fire, and I'll just quickly talk through these pictures. Right,
Right, so we're on
so
one now.
basically... This is probably one of my favourite wedding photographs from last year. I like this one. Andy Murphy's in this picture, actually. He's in the background.
Oh,
he helped me out with a little bit of the smoke stuff going on. That was one of those weddings, Lisa and Harry, amazing couple at the end of last year. And I just said to them, a bit unorthodox, but do you fancy leaving your own wedding for 10 minutes? Because I've got this idea. And they're like, yeah, great. So Andy actually very generously gave us a lift to this location, had this idea, and fortunately it worked really well. And that's the sort of thing that my brides and grooms, they want a lot of the documentary stuff. They want the storytelling. They want beautiful moments. They want to spend time at their own wedding, and that's so important. But they also want to do something that puts their stamp on their wedding day, and whatever that is, sometimes you don't know until the day. But for Lisa and Harry, it was that, and I just love that picture. So, but that's the sort of the more posy type stuff. But then you can look at the documentary side of things, and this is a picture from a couple of years ago that is probably one of my it's definitely my most liked photograph from a social media point of view. And I think it's just because it's something that almost everybody can connect with, can resonate with. It's bride and a moment with her granddad. Everybody wants beautiful moments captured with people who they love. And this was a particularly sort of poignant moment at the wedding. Catherine was saying goodbye to her granddad. He was only well enough to actually come to the church before he was going home. And this was actually in between a couple of family photographs that we were doing, and it just sort of unfolded, and I was actually really, what I was doing was directing people, moving people in and out of this shot, and then I realised there was something just going on out the corner of my eye, and kind of got in there, and I love it. So you kind of go from the ridiculous smoke type stuff to the real tearjerker type things, and then you kind of move on to everything in between as well. But going back to the smoke stuff, I have to kind of give this a little mention tonight, because I've seen a few people talking about smoke bombs and things like that, and I think, I just like doing fun stuff, and brides and grooms like doing fun stuff, and yes, it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with a particular moment, but bloody hell, it can look cool sometimes. Stuff like, where are we, Harry? Have we flicked onto...
We're this one here.
So am I ignoring that?
That's what you were just talking about.
Yeah.
And now that's what you're talking over.
Excellent. Is that being shown there? Are we delayed?
That's your live one.
So that's not showing yet. No, it's good. I want this one.
That's the one you can talk about.
But nobody's seeing that at the moment.
You talk as if you're looking at that.
Okay, excellent. This is confusing for a lot of people. We're going to move on. No. There we go. It's there. It's there. Yeah, I'm going to ignore it. So this one, that's at one of the pictures I was talking about earlier at Owen House Wedding Barn, when Dan he knows I like to do some stuff that is, just got a little bit of something about it, and so I'd shot loads of amazing documentary stuff at this particular wedding, and then he was like, I'm going to light this fire, do you want to come and shoot it with the bride and groom? I was like, yeah. And it's funny, if you mention setting fire to stuff and to the bride and groom, generally they go, yeah, we'll come and do that. Amazing. So that was a shot. We sneaked out the back of Owen House Wedding Barn and did that. We then jumped in the Land Rover and disappeared across the fields, which was hilarious. Shot some off-camera flash stuff up there. This kind of stuff I tend to do a little bit later in the day as well. It always helps when people have had a little drinky, a couple of gin and tonics, a couple of glasses of Prosecco. It relaxes them totally. And this bride and groom, actually, probably when I first chatted with them, probably didn't necessarily say they wanted to do anything super posy, but sometimes everything just feels right on the day, so it really, really worked for them. We're rolling on. I've only got a couple more to talk through, but it's just trying to demonstrate that this one, again, no bride and groom in it, but we were waiting for the bride to finish getting ready, Emily at Thornton Manor. And her bridesmaids were just hanging around, and I was chatting with them, and they kind of all started messing around in this part of the venue there while we were waiting for Emily to come out of the room, and started doing all the posy stuff. I wasn't actually shooting, we were just laughing about stuff. And then it just looked really good, so I shot it, and I just think sometimes the spontaneity attached to a little bit of direction, this was basically their idea. They weren't posing for a photo as such, but they were just messing around together, and it ended up looking so cool, so cool. I love that picture. And then sometimes it's again the spontaneity side of we wandered off, Kat and Robbie, to shoot some stuff deliberately with the bride and groom, do a bit of posy stuff in a field somewhere, and sometimes the stars align, I guess. We walked up to this gate and these two horses wandered over, and you can't really direct stuff like that. So yeah, we'd gone to shoot some posy stuff, but some stuff happened as well, and you just feel lucky sometimes. So I love that as well. And then you go back to the real emotional stuff. And this moment as Lauren was walking down the aisle, this is a wedding I shot in Ibiza last year. Lauren and Steve, great couple, and she looked amazing. I don't know anybody who wouldn't have had the tear in his eye in that setting, seeing how beautiful she looked. It was just great. He's got great ink, and you like a Rolex, Gav, as well. That is a proper Rolex, is Steve's. Yeah, it is a belter. That is a belter. Yeah. And continuing with the emotional stuff, again, it's just letting things unfold on the day, knowing when to step back. Jenna just walked down the stairs, and Mum and Dad, bridesmaids, were waiting to see her, and I should have been out of there. We were running a little bit late, but I just had this sense from being around them in the morning that this was going to be a proper moment. The girls were lively. I could tell that Mum and Dad were going to be super excited or emotional or both, so I knew it was worth me kind of panicking on the drive over to the church that I wasn't quite there as early as I wanted to be, and I got that, and I love it, absolutely love it. Next one please, Harry. This is a wedding that me and Andy did just before Christmas. Again, it goes back to the whole shooting genuine moments, spontaneous moments. Bride kind of wishing that Dad hadn't said what he just said. Danielle and Andy at the Bella Park, beautiful wedding, great belter of a wedding that. And again, it's just waiting for the right moments, and this is the real storytelling stuff. This is the stuff that when this bride and groom see this picture, Danielle remembers. She remembers exactly what her dad said at this time that made her react like that, and I think that's so important with the documentary side of things, is giving people that immediate memory in one photograph. And then it's, I love the party side of things. I had a little bit of help with this one at Ashfield House. Kerry Baker and Katie from Ashfield House helped me with this. Debbie and Darren wanted to do something during their first dance that just gave it a little bit of extra wow. So we did the confetti cannon thing, and it just all worked really beautifully. And then, a bit more party. I don't really like to rush off straight after the first dance. This is the sort of thing. If you're not diving out the door straight away, you get all that great stuff going on. The bride and groom going for it, belter. This sort of stuff with Gavin Jones singing with the bride, you get that. If you don't dash out the door straight away, he's ribbing me now a little bit. So sadly, wedding photographers have got a bit of a reputation for asking the question, "What time's the first dance?" But that's not true in all cases. I just wanted to make people.
The first dance, so about 11:30.
Half 11 is a strong time for a first dance. Strong time. So and how did that get in there? How did that get in there? I've no idea.
Shot.
No idea how that got there.
You haven't done a how did that get in there, surely?
Where does this go?
Yeah, just
on here. On here. There we go. Yeah. Right, we're coming back.
Awesome images.
So,
awesome.
Fantastic, mate.
Thank you.
We've got...
It's coming up in a minute. How did you get
just
there?
A little bit behind.
There it is. How did that get in there?
Shots. Now, Gavin, there was a question on there from Phoebe.
Yes.
Which is quite, it looks like a long question. I can see it.
It's a lengthy question. I'll try and paraphrase.
Yeah, are you ready for this, Johnny?
Probably not. Hi, Phoebe.
Hi, Phoebe.
Hi, Phoebe. Right, we're back.
Miss your face, by the way. Miss your face.
Johnny, as you know, I schedule the bride's morning for her hair and makeup. I always stress that I want them ready and finished at least 30 minutes before the wedding ceremony. So you have a solid 30 minutes before. I can't paraphrase it.
Don't read it, just read it out.
To get your essential wedding shots. Does that give you as a photographer enough time, realistically? I know you yourself always seem fine with that to get bridal prep and bridesmaid in pyjamas shots you want, but is that realistic timing for photographers? There's literally only a couple of photographers that ask to be more ready than 30 to 40 minutes before the wedding. In your opinion, when girls are scheduling their own wedding morning, how soon before the wedding do you need them to be ready?
That is a really good question, actually.
Wow.
The hair and makeup artists who I know and I work with regularly, we know how each other works. So, I mean, Phoebe's very generously asked a really good question. She knows how I work. But it's a really interesting one. And what it actually does is goes back very nicely into the stuff I was saying before about the different photographers who work in very, very different ways. So yeah, there will be some wedding photographers who, what they sell into their bride and groom as to what they're actually going to receive afterwards is, and yes, you will get you in the dress with it, a picture of it being done up, and then, you know, your dad will come in and we'll get that shot and all that kind of stuff. I probably do that for less than half of the weddings that I shoot, because I want to shoot the wedding that they want me to shoot, that bride and groom. And so many times, because I shoot on my own most of the time, it's very rare I'll use a second shooter. Every now and again I do if the logistics kind of demand it. But overall, it's just me. So I need to work out when I'm going to leave certain places to get to certain places. So if you are doing bride getting ready at mum and dad's house, then you've got to get to church for the ceremony, then you're going on to the venue. You've got to work out where you're leaving and at what point. And like I was saying with that photograph of Jen and her dad and mum and the girls before, that was a day where I was literally kind of, bloody hell, I need to leave in ideally 15 minutes ago, but I just know it's going to be a great moment. So I'm not even going to say anything to her, and I'm going to wait, and then I'm going to leg it out the door.
Okay.
But so many people will say, do you know what? Get down to the church, shoot the guests arriving. I want to see him. I want to see a bit of him, you know, in the build-up before I get there, and then just be there and get a picture of me and my dad in the car walking up the pathway, that sort of thing. So basically, the answer to that question, from my point of view, is I would make no demands of hair and makeup. And my brides and grooms my brides who get in touch with me saying, I've spoken to my hairdresser or my makeup artist, they want to know what time you want me ready for. My response to them always is, don't worry about me. Make sure you're ready in your own time, so that you're
right.
I don't want to be responsible for people feeling like they're rushing for something else. The hair and makeup part of the day is so important.
Really?
It can make or break a morning.
You
know, if you get a hairdresser or a makeup artist who ends up running over and stressing the bride out, that's not a good start to heading out the door to go and get married.
Equally, if they need that time to get it right, then that's equally important, isn't it?
But somebody like Phoebe and all the girls who I know who do hair and makeup, they have such a great relationship with their brides. They're explaining to them from minute one about how it's going to work with them, so that they're ready at the optimum time and all that kind of stuff. So that there is no. The other thing is you don't want to be rushing out the door. That's a nightmare.
To be perfectly honest with you, with timings, if you're a little bit late, I don't know about the ceremony. It just depends on, like, if you're late to a ceremony here, there's nothing going to be on afterwards. So it doesn't really matter.
Well, that's to do with registrars. They might have to go somewhere else.
They might have to go somewhere else.
Yeah, so it can be.
I get that.
That can be a pressure. Good question, Phoebe.
Yeah, we do have another question here from Jade Murphy. Hello, Jade Murphy.
Hi, Jade.
Amazing name, by the way. Do smoke bombs need to be booked ahead, or is that something you just do? You do smoke bombs at every wedding, or is it just?
I do stuff like that for the bride and groom who show an interest in it, basically, and kind of say,
So Jade, you're getting
the pyro stuff. For the ones who kind of go, we want to do something that's a bit fun, a bit cool, a bit different. So that's when I'll start having a little chat with them. We know we're going to do something going into the day if it's something they've shown an interest in, basically. So Jade,
cool.
All good.
Little comment from Stefan Remnerson.
Stefan the Viking.
Stefan was supposed to be here tonight, but he couldn't make it because he's far too busy, which is all good. But we'll probably get Stefan on maybe at another time. So nice one, Stefan.
I'm just trying to get your questions here. Sorry, it looks a bit rude, but the questions are flying.
Texting his wife. His wife.
I'm texting Adam, actually. Good evening, Adam. Thanks for tuning in and thanks for your kind comments.
Adam Evanson, how long do photos last on the day between post-service and do you...
Should I read
that's
it?
That's the old thing where you're reading something and then you get to the bit
and then go, okay. I'm not going to say that.
What does he say? What's the question?
No, he basically says, do you ruin the food for the caterers?
I absolutely, as he well knows, I do not do that, no.
Lucy writes, how do you get the best out of camera-shy couples?
Hi, Lucy.
Hi, Lucy.
Oh, Lucy Wright. Big up Lucy Wright. She's doing Harry and Ellie's wedding as well. Yes. We were talking about hotels the other day, me and Lucy, about the party that we're going to have the night before. Not the night before, because we will be stone cold sober. The night after the wedding. That's when we're going to celebrate.
You'd be home having a Chinese, as you usually are.
Match of the day, pizza, glass of wine. Say glass.
The actual
bottle.
dream, bottle.
Yeah. Sorry, what was the question, Gav? I've gone again.
I think we've covered it, to be honest with you. How do you get the best out of camera-shy couples? We sort of mentioned that before, didn't we?
Yeah, being gentle with them and not making them do stuff that they don't want to do.
Yeah.
There's lots of questions, Gavin.
There's loads. I'm miles behind here, mate, by the way. What's the best combination of live music versus DJs throughout the day? That's Brian Branson.
Another one
Thanks,
for me.
Bryony.
Another one for me, that question.
No, not for you. Andy.
Bryony. Yes, that rings a bell, that name. Yes. What was the question? Sorry.
What's the best combination of live music and DJs throughout the day?
During the day, I would say it's all down to the bride and groom, really. I would have thought live music during the day is a bit better because it's a bit more personal, interactive. You can walk around.
You can do anything during the day.
A DJ, I wouldn't DJ during the day. I would kind of host the wedding and introduce the speeches and introduce the bridal party into the room to certain types of music. But again, a singer can do that. So it all depends on what you want as a bride, really.
I've seen a really good guy, acoustic guitarist, John King.
He's amazing.
Recently. Brilliant. Brilliant the other day.
Yeah.
Well, then he goes out as a trio at night as well. So, superb.
Yeah. Hope that answers your question. Sorry, I hope you enjoy. Hope you enjoy your meal.
My end game is I stop singing and just become the John King trio manager, and the boys get paid $3 and $11, and I'm on like $1,000 a gig basically for just sitting at home. So that's the end game. Yeah. If John, have you watched?
He's got magnificent hair.
Howard Wing has just joined the live feed.
Well, he's left it late. He's left it late. Quarter to 9.
He's been doing yoga all day.
Very
flexible. Did his yoga and had a kip. He's just
very flexible. Very flexible.
Lots of questions. It's hard to pick one out.
I don't know whether Scott's still watching, but Scott Shorrock, top man.
Neve McClelland. Hello, Neve. She paid a visit to the barn yesterday and loved the setup. Thank you, Neve. Very kind words.
Do smoke bonds need book ahead. We've done that already, haven't we? Yeah.
What hair gel do you all use from
Matt
Heppelston?
Oh, of course. It's called men's gel, I think.
Is that the wrong way around?
Let's give a little advert there. Are we getting that yet? No. Thank you, Matt. We'll do one more time. So
Matt Heppelston.
I use shockwaves.
Shockwaves.
Yes. Yeah.
Nick Roper.
Nick Roper, photographer, evening.
Hello, Nick.
How do you ensure the dance floor stays filled after the first or second dance?
That's not my responsibility, really. Sorry, that was one for you.
Yeah.
It's totally out of focus, that, by the way.
Was it?
Yeah,
Sorry, Matt.
Oh, does it? Do you sort it out, do you?
Oh, there it is.
Hey!
Oh, that's a belt to that.
So we've got a lag here. So right. The question was, how do you fill the floor after the first dance? Well, you normally hit them with a big tune, something that's massive, something that's. The thing with weddings is, sometimes people let their guard down when it comes to music. They might say, I listen to dance music and I don't listen to anything else. But it comes to the wedding, they've had a few beers, they'll pretty much dance to anything apart from the Macarena or the Time Warp or the Birdie song. I know you play them at your sex.
All my favourites that Gav drops, those.
But I would sit down with the bride and groom and we normally chat about what the first dance is going to be and then what kind of music they're into. See, they're not even listening to me. I'm glad you're all listening at home, okay? So what I do on the Andy Murphy show is, the first dance and then straight into something lively, something. It just depends on my mood, depends on the crowd.
That you just put Now Party on,
or I just put Now Party on.
Auto mix.
Next question, Your Honour.
Oh, God. Right, all right, boys. Just finished my meeting, Howard Wing.
Thanks, Howard.
So how many bookings? Such an important man.
How many bookings this year? How many bookings and inquiries? Let's find out. Let's find out, Howard. Go.
You did the same thing, by the way.
That's what I'm ribbing him about.
I got 900 emails today. All asking me, do I take card?
4 million emails today.
No, I don't take card. Yeah. Any further questions, Gav, or should we
move on to the next bit?
Yeah.
There's proper comment. Andy Keogh, I mean, he's
let's ask Andy Keogh. Evening, big up yourself.
Yeah.
Great beard.
Do you feel less of a man sitting next to two such bearded hunks?
Of course he does.
Can we anticipate a beard from you at some stage?
Who's that director?
In the future?
Who's that director? I am trying.
There's a bit going.
All right, there, Lee.
Andrew.
We got that.
Andy had a shave at 5 o'clock. That's what happens. He seriously shaves every 5 hours. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
I'm not a big fan of shaving. Any questions related to weddings at all?
So we are. Rianne Jones. Hi, Rianne.
Hi.
Thanks for your question. How far in advance should you book your band DJ or photographer? Our wedding venue is Charnock Farm in Leyland, October 2018. Are we all available?
Can I just check my diary? Can I take this one, Gavin?
Yes, you can. Yeah.
What I'd like to say about this one, and Andrew, is this is not me winding you up about photography. This is totally serious. A few years ago, and not that many years ago as well, talking 3-4 years ago, if you'd have told me people were booking DJs, bands, other wedding suppliers ahead of wedding photographer, which was the norm a few years ago. It was book your venue, you book a photographer, then you sort of tick all the other boxes. I'd have thought you were winding me up. These days, I can't get a gig with him when I recommend him. He's already booked, and that's 18 months, 2 years in advance. So I would, if you want somebody, regardless of what they do, get them nailed down, because otherwise you're just going to be disappointed. Both of these boys get booked just as early as anybody else. So
it's as soon, and people say when they inquire with us, and I'm sure you're the same, when do we need to put our weddings in 2019? I would go, as soon as you make a decision, you book them.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
You don't know when you're going to get someone come in and take that date. It can happen. Every day there's inquiries coming in. It's
I don't know if it happens to you, but it happens to me. I could have a wedding booked in for the 9th of July 2019, and you'll still get 7 inquiries for that same one date.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. You just,
it's really, I always feel terrible. It's like a big shame. I mean, I've had a few today on Facebook, people saying that you're available, and then the response back when you're not available is like,
heartbreaking.
Oh, no. You feel really bad.
You've got your heart set on you, and they want
as
you to do
soon as
it,
you know, get on it straight away. Get the main things booked. Where it's a florist is a bit different, isn't it? Because they can do multiple.
There's some suppliers who can do a number of different weddings a day, but the ones who can only do one.
Band, DJ, get it sorted as soon as you know. Don't mess about, because at the end of the day, and I said this on the last one, it's like the transfer window. You want your first choice.
It's a good analogy.
Yeah. And Andy said that was a good analogy.
Good analogy. Well done.
Lucy writes, Andy, how would you recommend couples end their wedding music? They have a first dance, but what do you suggest for a last dance?
Elsa.
I would never do that.
Don't slag New York.
It's a belt, that is a
belter of a tune.
Again, it all depends on personal preference.
You could have what we had as our last dance at our wedding, which Gav will remember as being...
Apache.
No, that was our first dance.
Oh, okay.
Was it?
No, I
thought it was Westlife.
It was Westlife.
Well remembered, Murph.
DJ'd at your wedding.
He did, yeah.
Sure he's not watching?
No.
Probably not.
No. Unlikely.
So the question is, again, it depends on personal preference. Years ago, the end of a wedding was always either New York, or 500 Miles by the Proclaimers. I tend to shy away from those and just work with the couple. A song which...
It's always something I go and ask the couple.
Yeah.
What do you want? Have a think about your last one. If they haven't told me already.
Yeah.
And, they usually come up with some genius. And then if they don't, then you suggest
like us.
stuff.
Ollie Pearson from The Word Is Love, he's a big fan of Never Forget, because...
We had Never Forget ours.
Never Forget is one of the big ones for me. And it always works. And even if... The funny thing is, you'll say it to people and they don't realise what it is. They go, I'm not sure. But then you play it and it's just a hand raiser, isn't it?
Yeah.
Totally.
What else we got here? We've got loads of questions.
Rachel Boran. Hello, Rachel.
Hello, Rachel.
Thanks for tuning in. Andy, we've booked you for our wedding. How far in advance do we have our meeting with you?
Come down tonight. We're gonna be here till
Prosecco.
3-4. Prosecco, unbelievable.
I tend to have my client meetings. I try and have them once the stag party and the hen party have happened, just in case there's some sort of story or some sort of music from the hen party and stag party that we can use on the day to try and influence, the dancing and the music. So
You're good with that. I said this to you last time. You ask questions that provoke songs in your mind. So you'll say, when did you go to uni?
yeah,
And then what year? So it's 2001. Oh, okay. So then you'll check out what
I personally
songs
think
were big that year. Do you know what I mean?
during a uni years,
It's
there's always
good, you know.
there's always a dodgy kind of pub that you went to before you went to the main nightclubs in Manchester. There's always a pub around the corner which had 4 songs on the jukebox, which you can always relate back to little stories about your educational years and stuff like that. So yeah, there's quite a good question here which I'd struggle to answer, but I want to see if you guys can answer it.
Nervous now.
It's from Stephen McGowan.
Oh no, I was just about to do that.
Oh yeah,
then.
okay.
Go
So
on.
Stephen McGowan, hello Stephen McGowan, how are you? Who or what inspires you? Do you have any particular industry figures that inspire your work? And if so, who?
I'm guessing that's for Johnny. That's not for us.
Well,
It's tough for me because a lot of DJs are kind of radio DJs or...
got to be David Guetta for you, hasn't it?
David Guetta, he's got a nice big USB stick.
Hello, David, if you're watching.
Dave,
We love you.
Keep
keep it real. Big up the David Guetta.
So the answer from me is David Guetta.
No, seriously, I think that's a question for Johnny.
It's a hard one. It's a tough one because...
I can answer it from my point of view.
Go on then. Oh, sorry. Right.
No, it's okay. Don't worry.
Because you said at the start you kind of almost stumbled into photography.
Yes.
Kind of. So
I did. So basically, because I was doing video stuff, at the time, I probably shot my first wedding video 15 years ago. And basically, the couple who photographed Emma and I's wedding, I met them when I was doing wedding video. And I've worked with them a couple of times. About a year or so before or so before we got engaged, and then got married the year after. So knew them for a couple of years by the time we got married, and they were basically the first couple or single photographer or any photographer that kind of made me pay attention to the photography at that time, because everybody else was doing things in exactly the same way. I mean, exactly the same way. So a complete polar opposite to what you get these days, where everybody's doing things in totally different ways.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
So it was just, the market was, brides and groom, well, they had no choice. It was dictated to them, and it was just the same stuff every week that I saw. So there was nothing interesting or exciting about it. It was literally a church doorway shot once they came out, maybe a couple of pictures in the ceremony if they were allowed, but people were shooting on, film cameras with big flash guns and slow shutter speeds if it was dark, which meant tripods and very old school.
Yeah.
Church doorway shot, one in the car, all the family shots, and pretend cutting of the cake, and that'd be about it. That's what people got. An album with 36 shots in it.
A bit like mine.
Yeah, probably.
I was going to say, yours was, you've talked about that before, your wedding video was a bloke with a Russian army army camera, tripod, 7 hours, and pointing in one
Here you
direction.
go.
My wife watches it all the
Time
time.
and date in the corner.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I love that.
We mentioned it on the last one, didn't we?
Stefan
Yeah,
needs to do that.
yeah.
Stefan needs to bring that back. Stefan, bring it back.
So what
Time and date.
about your
It
influence?
doesn't really work like that for me. I mean,
Do you not have any singer that you think...
Let me finish
Sorry,
my
you're not
story.
finished. Sorry,
No,
Johnny. Sorry,
I was
mate.
only just getting going.
Sorry.
So the husband and wife
off
team,
there,
Jonathan and Christine, were basically the first couple I'd seen do anything in a different way. And the thing that really stuck in my mind, the first time I met them, when we sat down during the wedding breakfast and everyone was eating and we just had a few minutes to chat, my question to them was how long they'd known the couple, and I actually meant that in I assume you're mates with them and have known them for years and you're friends of the family or whatever. And they went, oh, they're just a wedding couple that we met last year when they booked. And it blew my mind because like these guys, the bride and groom loved them. Like they were wanted to be their best friends and all that kind of stuff. And that really kind of resonated with me, and
completely.
that's been something that has kind of stuck with me about building
what I said before,
building relationships with people, and just their approach overall. They were really early adopters of shooting on digital, so they were far less restricted in terms of producing something very different to what I was saying. People were getting.
Can I ask you? Actually, there was a digital analog switchover. I'm guessing. I'm guessing there was probably a lot of wedding photographers were very against changing to digital. I bet you a lot of them hung on to the old style for years.
I think so, and I think because they thought, it's never going to catch on, this digital stuff.
Which is unbelievable when you
but I also think
it's like now.
It was
the freedom you've got with
hugely expensive at the time.
Was it?
Like massively expensive to swap over.
Right.
And now it's almost the other way. It's probably more expensive
Mad that,
to shoot the amount of photographs you'd want to deliver. In a comparison to digital, it's probably more expensive to shoot film these days. So
crazy,
film is almost a premium product, really. I know people who are charging $5-6 grand upwards to shoot a wedding on film. And a lot beyond.
Someone mentioned to me today that there was a DJ who was still DJing weddings on vinyl.
Yeah, still happens, and vinyl does sound better regardless, but
it doesn't.
It's
got that warmth.
It's got that warmth, but
it's not.
I know loads of
It's
DJs who won't touch digital stuff. It's
still, DJs
there's a lot of clubs in town who won't allow DJs to bring any sort of tech into the DJ booth. It has to be vinyl.
No, right.
You're not allowed a laptop. You're not allowed a USB.
If you go to, I did a gig at a big club in Printworks, and they had 2 vinyl platters, but they were time coded, so they still do a bit of that. So basically, you got a laptop, but it works.
So you can still manipulate the time code. So
let's get back to some questions.
It's 9 o'clock. Are we gonna?
Well, we've got another 3 hours to go.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. We're until midnight.
I just don't want to miss anyone who's.
Let's take a couple of more questions. Let's see. Let Jonny pick one because
Kenji Fenton's joined.
Kenji Fenton.
No.
He's joined because Kenji was at our wedding as well back in the day. He loves it.
No way. Kenji Fenton's watching. I thought he'd be.
Is he asking a question or is he?
No, he's just joined.
Well, he might well
he's
see.
probably turned off already.
We'll see. Joined and went, what's this?
I actually think.
Andy, what is your best now album and why?
Now 11 for me. Now 11. Kylie Minogue, I should be so lucky.
It's the white cover. I think it's now 8, and it's got "Don't Leave Me This Way" on it. It's got "Addicted to Love" Robert Palmer. How sad's this? But it's one of the first ones I bought, and it's amazing. About
80,
something like that. Yeah,
86.
I was 2 at the time.
85.
I think I was 2.
11 was 87.
It's
I think.
amazing. It's the white one. It's got like a white. Anyway. Yes, Mike. Thanks for your question. I love that question.
I actually think it's time to wrap it up.
It's a vinyl.
No.
One more question, Jonny. Jonny, pick a question. You skip through there and pick a question, Jonny. Listen, guys, thanks for joining us tonight, by the way. Massive thanks to Harry for making it look just
top man.
Outrageous. It really does. And again,
you've obviously noticed that the quality of the video is
stunning.
Absolutely stunning.
Stunning.
Thank you massively to Dan, who's over there running his fingers through his very expensive hair.
Harry, can we get it like a scanning shot of the venue? Would that be possible?
There's so many good questions.
I know, but we're going to
so little time.
Pick one.
Well, Lauren Mottram, hello, Lauren. I will tell you if you're slouching. Here's the best question.
Go on.
LA, Leslie Ann Stevens from Merton Hall.
I saw that one. Yeah.
Here's a belter.
Go on.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
If a couple were going to go over their budget, which do you think they should spend it on?
DJ.
Band.
DJ or photographer.
Bands, DJ or photographer.
Personally, from
there's some very cheap loans nowadays. 3.3% from your bank. Get on it. M&S 3.9%. I bought my missus' car with it.
So basically, not answering that. I don't know.
I think if I was going to do
bandifer, photographer. I think.
Well, you do quite good videos and stills
Amazing.
with your GoPro now, don't you? So you could just get him to do it. He doesn't play a musical instrument though. So.
Yeah, Dan mentioned that last week. Yeah,
but Gav sings and DJs, so he just needs to work on the pictures.
Right, so if anybody's looking for someone to wait on tables or open bottles of wine.
Does anyone work for Carphone Warehouse? Because
whoa!
Wow.
Painting lines down the middle of the motorway.
Middle of the M6. The belter at painting lines down the M6. Listen, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We really, really appreciate it. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't do this. So thanks a lot. Massive thanks to
Thanks,
Jonny Draper. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, is that Jägermeister? Yes, it's a Jägermeister.
Cool.
That's my favourite.
Hopefully Gemma's tuned out by now.
Just before we do finish, going to mention the next Wedding Cues Live is going to feature the magician Sam Fitton.
Yes.
Sam Fitton.
Yeah.
It's also going to feature...
I bet he can't make these disappear as quick as I can though, can he? Hey?
It's also going to feature Ollie and Susie from The Word Is Love, who supplied the letters. I don't know if you can see the letters at the back there. How's that coming across on... Yeah, you can see the letters. So
yeah, just...
The next one will be Ollie and Susie, and then hopefully over the coming months we're going to have makeup artists who are going to give you a masterclass live on the Wedding Cues, hairdressers...
Probably somebody who owns a bridal boutique. Probably will be. Will probably
yeah.
turn up at some point. I don't know who that might be, but we'll see. I'm
That's
sure
it,
we'll try and pull a few strings.
Well, so yeah, thanks for watching. It's been a pleasure, and thank you to Jonny Draper. Thank
Cheers.
you, Gavin. And
cheers.
Thanks
Down the
very
hatch.
much.
Pros.
I'm driving.